May sat at her small wooden desk, the soft glow of her laptop screen illuminating her face. Rain tapped gently against the window behind her, and the distant rumble of thunder filled the quiet room. She had been trying to learn English for months without much success. Grammar rules felt like tangled threads, and pronunciation exercises made her feel awkward. Every time she opened a textbook or watched a learning video, her mind lost focus within minutes. Tonight, determined to break her frustration, she searched YouTube for something new, an English story channel that might hold her attention. She clicked on a channel called Midnight Tales. The thumbnail showed a dimly lit room with a single lamp and a person's silhouette perched on a stool. The title read, "The Lost Child of Willow Creek." May hesitated, unsure if she would understand the narrator's accent or the rapid flow of words. But something about the title, "A Missing Child," felt compelling. Perhaps a story with suspense could keep her mind engaged. She pressed play. A deep, calming voice filled her headphones. Hello and welcome to Midnight Tales. Tonight's story is called The Lost Child of Willow Creek. Listen carefully, and if you have your notebook, jot down any new words you hear. The narrator's name, she learned later, was Lucas. He spoke slowly at first, clipping his words with clear enunciation. May's heart fluttered with nervous excitement. She grabbed a pen and paper and prepared herself for the unknown. The story began with a description of a small town called Willow Creek, nestled between dense forests and a winding river. May pictured the winding paths, the wooden bridges, and the quiet houses where everyone knew each other. The narrative spoke of a young girl named Emily who had vanished one foggy night. The townspeople searched her home, her school, and even the old mill by the river, but nobody knew where she had gone. Lucas paused to define certain words: vanished, foggy, mills, and search party. May wrote these down, her pen gliding over the paper. With every well-explained term, she felt her confidence grow. Night after night, May tuned in to Midnight Tales. She learned idioms like a whisper in the wind and the chill of suspense. She struggled at first to follow the dialogue, but Lucas's patient approach, breaking sentences into smaller phrases, explaining idioms, and repeating difficult words, helped her steadily improve. More than vocabulary, she absorbed the rhythm of English sentences, the pauses between phrases, and the subtle rises and falls of tone that conveyed emotion. As May's English skills improved, the story deepened. Lucas described how Emily's parents had been desperate, how the local sheriff had organized search parties, and how whispers spread about an old legend that Willow Creek had long been haunted by a spirit that lured children into the woods. Some say, Lucas murmured, the ghost of a woman who lost her child centuries ago still walks these trees, searching for her baby. They call her the Lady of the Pines. His voice dipped, drawing May into the suspense. She could almost hear the rustling leaves and smell the damp earth of the forest. One evening, Lucas announced a special live stream. His thumbnail had changed. He looked uneasy, glancing over his shoulder as if someone stood just behind him. The title read, "A Personal Message Urgent." May's heart pounded. She clicked in, adjusting her headset. The chat window scrolled with hundreds of comments. Lucas, are you okay? We love your stories. Please stay safe. The video began, and Lucas appeared in half-light, his face tense. Hello, everyone, he started. I need your help. I've uncovered something about the legend of Willow Creek that someone doesn't want me to share. They've been following me, leaving messages at my door, telling me to stop recording. But I can't ignore the truth. My next story will reveal evidence that could solve Emily's disappearance and possibly a century-old mystery. I'm not sure how much time I have left. Please, if any of you are nearby Willow Creek, check at the old mill. You might find something. His voice quavered as he named a coordinate, latitude 38.234, longitude minus 87.643. May stared at the numbers, unsettled. She recognized decimal degrees from her high school geography class. Slowly, she jotted them down. The video cut off abruptly. The screen went dark. May sat frozen, her heart hammering in her chest. Suspense and fear twisted together. What had happened to Lucas? Who was following him? And what did he expect viewers to find at an abandoned mill? Though she lived thousands of miles away, something inside May urged her to act. In the next days, May replayed the message over and over, practicing her pronunciation of the coordinates and other words Lucas had emphasized. She shared the video with her friend Arjun, who had better phone reception and a car. Arjun, she said, I need you to go to Willow Creek. I can help you understand the clues. I think Lucas is in danger. Arjun looked at her with concern. Isn't that in Kentucky, USA? He asked. May nodded. Yes, but you can drive to the airport and fly there. I'll guide you with the English translations and clues. Arjun hesitated, then agreed, moved by May's urgency. He was her closest friend, and he had always supported her English learning journey. Now she needed his help. Day by day, May escorted Arjun through Lucas's previous videos. She translated phrases, interpreted clues, and mapped out potential exploration routes. Arjun was grateful for her guidance. Without her English, he would be lost. They discovered that Lucas had uploaded a hidden map overlay on one of his story videos, showing paths in the forest around Willow Creek. In another video, the timing of certain words, the use of north and east hinted at where clues might lie. May's growing fluency transformed Lucas's cryptic references into clear instructions. Follow the river to the Old Oak, then head west until you reach the collapsed bridge. On the day Arjun left for the United States, May felt a rush of emotions, hope, fear, and pride. She watched the plane take off on her computer's live tracker. Be safe, she whispered, tears in her eyes. Over the next week, she checked her email obsessively, waiting for updates from Arjun. Meanwhile, Lucas's story channel had exploded in popularity. Thousands of viewers tuned in, eager to solve the mystery. Some fans even volunteered to join Arjun's search party. They formed a small group of amateur investigators, all united by Lucas's final message. May's heart swelled with a mixture of pride and anxiety. A part of her wondered if she had done the right thing, encouraging someone to venture into a potentially dangerous situation based on a story channel clue. Late one night, about 7 days after Arjun's departure, May received an email from him. The subject line read, We found her. Thank you. Her fingers trembled as she clicked it open. Dear May, the email began. It's been the most intense week of my life. I arrived in the States, rented a car, and drove to Willow Creek. The town is small, population just over 2,000. Everyone seemed puzzled when I showed them Lucas's video and the coordinates, but they pointed me toward the old mill. The mill stands by the river. Its wooden planks are rotting, and the water flows dark and deep beneath it. I searched under the mill's floorboards, as Lucas suggested. There, behind a loose board, I found a small box. Inside were documents, handwritten pages from the 1940s, and a faded photograph of a little girl. The handwriting matched Lucas's handwriting from his earlier videos. It seemed he had discovered the truth about Emily's disappearance and kept hidden notes. But when I looked more closely at the photograph, I realized something chilling. The girl's dress had the same floral pattern that Lucas wore in one of his story thumbnails. It struck me that perhaps Lucas's own grandmother had been Emily. The circles of time had closed. I spent 3 nights researching graveyard records and old newspapers. Finally, I discovered that Emily, whose full name was Emily Grace Whitaker, had a younger sister named Mary. Mary disappeared soon after Emily, but nobody spoke of it. I also found an entry in the 1943 County Journal that said Mary Whitaker was declared missing near the old oak tree by the river. It seemed someone had tried to hide this tragic truth. The night before last, I saw a light flickering inside the mill at around midnight. I thought perhaps someone else had come looking. I crept closer and saw Lucas's car parked just outside. My heart raced. Inside the mill, I heard voices, Lexington County police officers questioning someone. I peeked in and witnessed them escorting Lucas out in handcuffs, his face pale but resolute. They had found him hiding inside, deep in the basement beneath the floorboards. He confessed. He discovered the location of Mary's lost grave, and he had been threatened by a private collector who wanted the documentary rights to the story. The collector was known to be ruthless. They forced Lucas to stay quiet or else. But Lucas refused to give up. He recorded his final message, knowing the collector might harm him. He dug under the mill floorboards to preserve the evidence before they could destroy it. That's why he stayed hidden. I'm writing this from my motel room. The local sheriff has agreed to protect Lucas. They found Mary's unmarked grave and reinterred her beside her sister. Tonight, there will be a small ceremony. I'm going tomorrow morning, hoping you can join us via video call. We will honor Emily and Mary and celebrate Lucas's bravery. He's safe for now, but the collector's identity remains unknown. If he tries anything more, the community is ready for him. Thank you, May. Without your help and your English translations, none of this would have happened. I can't wait to tell you everything in person. Please keep practicing your English. You are stronger than you know. Arjun. May read the email through tears. She felt a swell of emotion, relief that Lucas was safe, sorrow for the families of Emily and Mary, pride in her own role, and hope for the future. That night, May struggled to sleep, her mind buzzing with thoughts of justice, courage, and connection across continents. Over the next days, May dedicated herself even more deeply to English. She recorded her own short stories and posted them on a new channel called May's Midnight Lessons. Inspired by Lucas, she combined storytelling with language instructions. Her first video recounted Emily and Mary's story, acknowledging Lucas and Arjun, and teaching phrases like unmarked grave, county journal, and private collector. When she hit upload, her heart raced, but she felt ready. 1 month later, May's subscriber count had grown rapidly. Viewers commented on her clear pronunciation and heartfelt narration. She formed an online community with learners from around the world, all eager to practice English through stories. May felt a warm sense of belonging she had never experienced before. She answered comments, corrected mistakes kindly, and shared tips for improving vocabulary and listening skills. Her own English, once shaky and uncertain, had blossomed through her journey. Meanwhile, in Willow Creek, the ceremony for Emily and Mary took place under a bright morning sun. Lucas stood beside the sheriff and other townspeople at the graveyard. He looked more at peace than May had ever seen him. He spoke in halting English, thanking everyone who had believed him, especially one young teacher from India. He pointed his camera lens toward the sky, broadcasting live to May's channel. To May, he said, his voice thick with emotion, "Thank you. Because of you, my voice was heard and my story found its way home." Tears stung May's eyes as she watched the live stream on her laptop. She wiped her cheeks and whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." She thought back to the first night she discovered Lucas's story, how frightened she had been of his accent and her own inability to understand. Now she could translate stories into English, teach others, and even help solve a decades-old mystery. The journey had been filled with suspense and emotional highs and lows, but through it all, May had learned not only English, but also courage, empathy, and the importance of using her voice. As the ceremony ended, Lucas placed 2 white roses on the twin stones marking Emily and Mary's graves. He stepped back, his eyes moist. "Rest in peace, beloved sisters," he whispered. Then he turned toward his phone camera and blew a gentle kiss. "Thank you, May," he said. The screen went dark. May closed her laptop, her heart full. The rain had stopped outside, and the sky was pale gray with the promise of morning light. She stood, stretching, and walked to her bookshelf, where her old English textbook remained untouched. With a soft smile, she slid it into the back of the shelf. She no longer needed it. She had found a better way, a way through stories, emotion, and human connection. In the days that followed, May's videos continued to draw attention. She shared tales of bravery, loss, hope, and redemption, each story teaching new words and phrases, each sentence spoken with clarity and compassion. Her listeners sent her messages from distant countries. "Your story helped me understand English. I cried when you told Emily and Mary's tale. You inspired me to start my own channel." May replied to each with warmth, grateful for the community she had built. One evening, as she prepared a new video script, May felt a gentle knock at her door. She opened it to find Arjun, weary from travel but smiling broadly. He held a small package. "For you," he said, handing it to her. Inside was a white rose pinned to a piece of ribbon, the petals slightly wilted but still fragrant. A note read, "From Willow Creek, thank you for giving voice to my story." May's eyes filled with tears as she pinned the rose to her shirt. She knew that although she had never visited Willow Creek in person, a part of her now belonged there. Through English, through stories, she had formed a bond that transcended distance. That night, May recorded her final words for her latest video. "Dear viewers, every word you learn, every story you listen to, carries a piece of someone's heart. Let us honor those hearts by sharing their stories, by learning from them, and by finding our own voices along the way. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, good night." She switched off her camera, sitting quietly in the soft lamplight. Thunder rumbled in the distance, echoing memories of that first stormy night. May closed her eyes, feeling a profound sense of peace. The path she had walked, from confusion and fear to understanding and community, felt almost unreal. But it was real, and it had changed her life forever. Outside, the rain began again, pattering softly against the window. May picked up her notebook, once filled with clumsy vocabulary lists, and penned a new line. Stories heal, stories connect, stories teach. She smiled, closed the notebook, and drifted into a restful sleep, dreaming in English for the first time.